Hi guys, it's Angel from Angel Sky TV. I just wanted to give you some tips on how to keep your immune system boosted during the change of weather from summer to fall. So here in Nova Scotia, the weather's been kind of crazy. It's been up and down a lot. It's kind of like always like that. So I think Nova Scotians are pretty much used to it. But it's been like really, really hot during the day, and then it gets extremely chilly at night. And that really plays a toll on your system, right? Because your system has to adapt to those changes. And even if you're, from here and you're used to that, it still can cause your body to um, to become compromised. So one of the things that I like to do in the fall, and especially when it starts to get colder, and even before it gets colder, I drink warm lemon water. It seems like a really simple thing to do, but it actually really helps boost your immune system. So I just take a lemon, organic lemon, I cut it in half. I squeeze it into my cup and add warm water. Sometimes I add half warm, half cold, just so I can drink it faster. It's the very first thing I drink in the morning before I eat anything. That's the best way to do it. It actually helps clean out your liver as well. I learned this technique from an Ayurvedic doctor who told me to do this every single day, and I've been doing it probably now for almost 10 years. Like off and on, if I run out of lemons, I won't do it obviously, but it's something I've always done. And then I also add ginger root, so I just grate it up with like a grater. There's some ginger on this grater right now because I just put some in my cup. So I'll just take a little piece off about this big, or sometimes even bigger, and I'll just grate it into my lemon water. And that's really good for if you're experiencing a cold or anything like that, or it helps with digestion. It also helps with your respiratory tract. So if you're coughing or whatever, sore throat, it's really, really good for all of that as well, the ginger root. So that's a raw piece of ginger root. You can get it at any store in the grocery store. Kind of looks like, kind of looks like this. Turmeric looks a lot like this too. Turmeric's a little bit harder to find. Turmeric obviously is the color of, orange color, and it tends to be smaller. Well, I guess you can get bigger pieces too. Anyways, that's my tip for today. Also, the big thing about getting sick and staying healthy is sleep. Sleep is huge. And, as North Americans, we're really bad for putting ourselves to bed, especially because there's so many things to distract you and keep you awake. But sleep is the biggest thing. If you can get yourself on a regular sleep schedule, you do need at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep. If you're still growing, like if you're in your, for men, if you're before 25, I know you might think you stopped growing, but you're still growing. And women, their bodies stop growing. But still, early 20s, you still need a lot of sleep just because there's a lot of hormones happening and stuff like that. So definitely get as much sleep as you can. And it's not like, oh, I only got 3 hours tonight, I'll get 20 hours tomorrow night. You should keep a regular sleep schedule. That's very important. What I do to offset my schedule, because I do have a young daughter who doesn't sleep very much, and she's never slept for 4 years, I swear. No naps, no anything. So what I do is I meditate. I meditate for about an hour a day, early in the morning, and that helps. I can't remember where I read it. I think it was, I can't remember where I read it, but like 1 hour of meditation equals a whole night of sleep. I don't know how true that is and what studies can back that up, but I did read that in several different places before. If I can find the study on it, I'll link it in the YouTube channel. But yeah, so meditation definitely offsets sleep. And if you are finding when you meditate you fall asleep, that's an indication that you're not getting enough sleep. because you shouldn't really be sleeping when you're meditating. But if you do happen to fall asleep, it means your body's extremely tired. And that's why you're falling asleep. It's not a bad thing. You needed it. You needed the sleep. That's why, um, uh, you fell asleep in the first place. Your body knows what to do, what it needs. Lots of water really helps your immune system. It flushes out any toxins. Going out in nature, even when it gets colder, this is a mistake a lot of people make, is as soon as it starts to get a little bit cold, they just hibernate in the house, they close all the windows, um, and that's not a good thing. You should keep yourself active outside, getting lots of fresh air, because as it gets colder, your body will be able to handle and adapt a lot quicker if you do go outside and get that fresh air in your body. Whereas if you just stay inside and close all the windows and use heat, every time you go outside, it's going to kind of be like a shock to your body. I think that um, should make should make sense. Another reason to go outside, though, is not just to help your body to adapt better. It's also just to be outside, be in nature. It's very healing. It's very soothing. It's a very great way to relieve stress. Um, One of the practices that my husband and I do every single day is we have our tea outside in the backyard. He's built a beautiful oasis, and we're often visited by little deer. And like yesterday, there was a mom and 3 babies. She kind of passes through once in a while. And so it's just a nice place to just reflect, and you can do your reading if you're in school. Like myself, I'm in school, so I do a lot of my reading outside, or I just sit in nature, just be with the birds and the trees. And it's important to touch the trees, touch the ground. If you can wear bare feet, if you don't find that that's too cold, just even for a few minutes, it will be so good for your body and so good for your immune system, because when your body is happy and when you're not stressed, your immune system is stronger. So the more stress you have, the weaker your immune system gets. So one of the other things I'd just like to mention really quickly is if to notice what your mind is focusing on. This is another way, or other people call this mindfulness. Jon Kabat-Zinn and all of that crew, they've developed this mindfulness, which obviously came from the Vedas and whatnot. But what I mean by mindfulness is, just while you're sitting there, think about what your attention is on. And lately I've been doing this all day kind of meditation where I'll tune in and say, okay, what am I thinking? Again, this is mindfulness. This is not something I made up. The part that I learned from Carolyn Mace is she talks about how there's energy cords going down from the divine into your body, like electric cords. And then whatever you think about, you're actually taking one of those cords and plugging it into. So if the thought that you're experiencing is positive, or like inspires you or makes you feel good, then obviously that plug-in is a good source, right? But if you're plugged into negativity or drama, or you're worrying about something, then what essentially you're doing is taking all your power, which is coming down into you, and letting it out. So throughout the day, I'll notice, okay, is this thought feeding me, or is it taking away from my happiness in this moment? And it takes 2 seconds to tune in. I just, does this thought feel good? That's basically what I ask myself. And if the answer is no, I'll just mentally unplug from that thought. Okay? And so what that does for me is it just ends that thought, it cuts it out. Sometimes I tell some of the clients I see to just take an elastic and slap themselves when they're, not to hurt yourself, but just to snap out of that habitual negative cycle that we can get ourselves into. So it does take a lot of discipline, and it does take a little bit of attention, but definitely reaps its benefits very, very quickly. Like you'll notice right away, as soon as you just stop thinking about those things that don't really serve you, that don't make you feel good, you'll feel better. I'm just checking the time here. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I always try to make YouTube videos like 5 minutes and they end up being like 10 minutes. So I apologize for taking up too much of your time today, but I just wanted to share some healthy tips and positive ways that you can keep your immune system boosted during the fall and winter season. Obviously, stock up on your vitamins, vitamin D. Some people take vitamin D. I prefer just to go outside, get some sun directly on my skin, no sunblock. I don't, I don't embellish or sunbathe, but I give myself at least 20 to 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes of direct sunlight right on my head so that it can hit my pineal gland. Pineal gland. Oh my God, I can't even talk. Anyways, so yeah, so meditation, your lemon water, um, keeping track of your thinking, what you're thinking about, and also what you're feeding your spirit. Just last thing, like so, what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're hearing. I try to keep track of that. If, for example, I choose to watch something that's kind of depressing, like maybe somebody died, or some of the things that you hear in the world, like that's happening. It's very depressing, but you still want to stay informed. I'll balance that by watching something very funny or looking at positive things after, so that I'm not just left in that mood of lower energy. And it doesn't mean to pretend that those things don't exist. That's not what I mean. I mean just keep it balanced, especially if you're quite sensitive like myself. You don't want to delve too deeply into some of the negative things that are out there or that are being projected on television. So I hope that you enjoyed the full supermoon lunar eclipse last night. It was absolutely beautiful. If you're feeling drained, I am with you there. Definitely took a lot out of me this moon, but I think that essentially that's a good thing because it felt like a cleansing for me, like letting go and things like that. So I hope that you took advantage of that as well and connected with the moon. So I think that's all I have to say. If there's anything else I can think of, I'll post it later. And hope you're having a good day and enjoying the nice sun outside. And talk to you soon. Okay, bye.